Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not concealer review on a very new concealer. And I actually just went to Sephora, so it's still in the baggie. They didn't have it out yet, but I was like, I need this, and I know it comes out, so can you get it for me? Where is it? Okay, so here it is. I freaked out for a second. It is the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer. So I'm super excited about this. I did mention this in my anti-haul. I said how I wasn't going to be picking up the Jouer, but I did want to pick up the new Huda Beauty Concealer. And that is because Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation is one of my all-time favorite foundations. I'm actually wearing it right now. Every time I wear this foundation, I feel like it just gives me a very beautiful, perfected finish. It's very full coverage. You need very, very little for you to get that snatched look. You don't need to go in with too much foundation. It's just really good situation, especially for people that have combo to oily skin and you're looking for fuller coverage. This will be your friend. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the concealer. I'm really curious to see how this is going to perform. So first things first, I want to talk about the price. This did retail for $30. I did pick it up at my local Sephora inside JCPenney. It's supposed to be a full coverage concealer. It's supposed to be great for sensitive, normal, dry combination and oily skin. The finish of it is a matte finish. And it's supposed to be armed with skincare actives. Not only does it cover and conceal, but it also soothes delicate skin around the eyes for every application. And what else does it say? It says that Huda Beauty really developed this for people that want to disguise their tired eyes. It's supposed to minimize the appearance of dark circles, redness, hyperpigmentation, age spots, and discoloration with a beautiful luminous matte finish. I don't know if that's possible, luminous matte, but we will see. It's a creamy formula that's infused with green tea, which is known to raise signs of discoloration and stress. And what else does it say? It also has rose extracts for soothing and moisturizing properties. And then it comes with this like special tip. And it's supposed to help soothe and depuff around the under eyes, leaving you having this brightened, refreshed, awake look. And it's available in 20 different colors. So this does not come in a doe foot applicator. Instead, it comes in with that little tip that it said. And that's supposed to be great for depuffing. So you can see it does have this tip, which I've seen a lot of skincare products have. It does have like a, it does feel really like nice and smooth. I personally really like the doe foot applicator. I feel like I'm a doe foot applicator type of girl when it comes to my concealer. But we will see how this performs. I feel like they have this more in mind. Like it says for the working lady or somebody that's gonna have long nights that's just looking to find a really good concealer to cover everything up, those dark spots. There's not much foundation product under my eyes because I wanted to leave that mainly blank so that when I go in with this, it can really go ahead and make a visible change. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So I picked up the color Graham Cracker, which is 16G. As for foundation from the Huda Beauty, I use Baklava, which is 340G. So it's more of that golden undertone for both of these. I did go ahead and swatch the concealers when I went in store. I wanted to purchase it online, but I knew that with 20 shades on the website and me trying to figure out which one I was, I probably would get the wrong one. So I was like, let me just go in store. So that's what I went ahead and did. This also does have 0.34 ounces. So let's just go ahead and start testing this baby out. Okay, so we are going to begin with this eye right here, and you can see there's a little bit of darkness on my under eyes, and I'm just gonna take some of the product out. I don't know if you guys can see that. And just kind of applied it in a triangle. Feels very creamy. I actually like how this feels, but it feels really cooling on the under eye. So that's nice. I'm gonna be taking my Morphe sponge and just blending this concealer right into my skin, the under eye area. They did come out with a concealer brush and also a black sponge. I didn't pick up either or because like I mentioned, they still hadn't put out the display in the Sephora that I went to. So they didn't have, and I didn't want to, you know, bombard them with trying to find me all the other products. I already have a sponge, so I don't need to buy another one. But I definitely would be interested in trying a brush soon because I don't really use brushes, but I feel like it would be cool just to kind of like test out. It looks very full coverage, but it doesn't feel like it's heavy or like super full coverage on my under eyes right now. And it's still kind of giving off that cooling sensation. I think it's because this applicator like really kind of has like that cooling feeling, maybe because of the type of material that it's made out of. But I really like how that felt when I was applying it. But I can see the difference. And also I feel like this color is fantastic. It goes perfect hand in hand with the Huda Beauty Foundation Baklava. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I have to go ahead and bake, because if I leave it there, I will definitely crease. Just baking under. I definitely am curious to see how it's gonna do with baking. Because you guys know that I have to bake, I just need concealers that are going to do well with my baking. They're not going to make that under eye part look too cakey or just like nasty. So we will see how this performs with the baking. Because it is a matte finish. So that's something that you also have to keep in mind when something says it's matte. You have to be careful, because sometimes when you put on the powder, that's when it starts to feel really drying. But right now it feels just fine. Hopefully it works well. Yeah, this applicator like gives off this really good cooling sensation. I would say the product is more on like the fuller coverage creamier side. It's definitely a creamy consistency. It's not like super duper thick, but you definitely feel that the consistency is creamier. If I had to compare it to something, I would say it's kind of along the lines of like a Tarte Shape Tape consistency, or even the Too Faced Born This Way feel. So that's good. It's also not runny, so it's definitely a fuller coverage. You can see how fast that covers. Another thing I want to mention is that this concealer does smell like the Huda Beauty Foundation. If you are not a fan of that scent, then you probably will not like this. I personally love the scent. I think it's the rose extracts that I mentioned is one of the main ingredients that gives off that scent. For me, I've never had any issues of it irritating me or causing a reaction on my skin, so I've continued to use it. But I know that for some people, it just isn't a good look, so I totally get it. I feel like we don't need to leave the bake on for too long, because I definitely don't want it to get too dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of dust off a little bit of it right here and kind of leave it right where the creases are so that I can prevent that creasing. Also, I did forget to mention this, but before we went in with this concealer, and mostly for all the times that I do wear makeup, I like to use the First Aid Beauty Kona Eye Stick. This is great for priming your under eyes for concealer, or even just in the mornings to really hydrate and depuff your eyes and soothe the under eye area. You will really like this. I feel like it does such a good job. It cools my eyes, it depuffs, it soothes them, and I just feel like it makes the concealers go on so much better, especially if you're somebody that has more of that dry under eye. I think you're really gonna enjoy this, because I feel like it'll be a good prep for your concealer in case you're worried that like when you're using concealer, it's gonna look a little bit drying, because I know that can happen if you do have dry skin. So this is definitely a good recommendation. First Aid Beauty, the Kona Eye Stick. You can find this at Sephora or even on First Aid Beauty's website. Now we're gonna go in with my Morphe M443. Wait, not M443, M433. And we're just gonna dust away this bake. And we're gonna start to kind of dust this one away, but we're gonna still leave it in those little cracks. So this eye looks really nice. Definitely before we put on the powder to bake, it had a tiny bit of luminosity, kind of like how it mentioned in the description where it said it's like a luminous matte finish. I never knew that was possible, but I definitely did see it. I feel like because the product is creamy but moisturizing, it allows it to kind of have that nice type of finish. But now that I went ahead and set it with my baking powder, I feel like it definitely gave me more of a matte vibe, but it doesn't look dry. It doesn't look like it's breaking apart or cakey or full coverage. I feel like it just looks like a nice, smooth matte finish on the under eye, which is great because I definitely want it to stay on all day. I want it to be crease free, but I also want it to be very comfortable, and I'm definitely getting those vibes from this. I feel like another thing that helps now that I'm dusting it off on this side is when you are using a concealer that's a little bit more like fuller coverage and not as lightweight as some of more of those hydrating concealers, you definitely don't want to leave on the baking powder for too long, because if you leave it on for too long, that's when it can start to dry out. So I just like to leave it on for like 2 to 3 minutes max, and then dust it right off. Now, if I'm using something like Laura Mercier, which is a little bit more hydrating, or even the new Avocado Bendy Concealer by First Aid Beauty, I can leave it up to like 5 minutes straight and it'll be fine because it's more hydrating. Right now, it looks absolutely perfect. I feel like it gave me a really good finish. I feel like my eyes look nice and brightened, but they don't look like crazy brightened. I feel like this color, Graham Cracker, is a really nice color for my complexion, especially if you have that Huda Beauty foundation in the shade Baklava, which is 340G. I feel like these go hand in hand together. I feel like this has been one of my better matches. I feel like it had that perfect undertone. It had some of that yellow, like that golden yellow, but it also still had those brightening effects of you still giving me that bright under eye, so that it didn't give me the look of a tired eye. What I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and give you guys my first impressions on this concealer. Okay, so I am back, full snatched face. So is it worth the buy or not? I have to say that for this being like a first impressions video and me really like feeling it out, I have to say I was very impressed. I do think it's worth a buy for somebody like me, or for somebody that's similar to me that really enjoys the Huda Beauty foundation, really enjoys a more fuller coverage concealer. I originally, when I first saw this and I just saw the packaging, I was like, I'm not gonna like that. I just don't know what it is, but whenever I see these types of packagings, I automatically think, you know what, that's not for me. I like a doe foot applicator. I like something different. I feel like if it would have came in that packaging, I would have been like, oh yes, like I'm here for it. But because I really enjoy the Huda Beauty foundation, I wanted to give this one a fair shot by actually buying it and testing it out for myself. And I'm so happy I did, because I really enjoy the concept of this. I really enjoy how it looks on my under eyes. I feel like it brightened my under eyes. I feel like it feels really comfortable, but it's also very full coverage in the sense of it's covering the darkness on my under eyes, and it feels smooth and very lightweight. I think it's super unique and interesting. I don't know if anybody else has done this. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that I've seen this type of applicator that is like a multi-use. So not only are you applying the concealer, but it's also giving you this like very nice cooling effect. I feel like this will be great for mornings. I also feel like this would be good for somebody that has work really early, has long nights, or is in school. I feel like if you're somebody that doesn't wear that much makeup, you can still just use this alone and you're going to get really good coverage. Like if you want to just conceal your under eyes and maybe do like a little bit of spot concealing around your face, this will cover it all, but still feel like a nice lightweight consistency. So this is definitely a good product for that. Now, if you're somebody more like me and you like to do a whole snatched look and you like to do your makeup from beginning to start, this is also gonna work well for you, because I feel like people that like to do like the whole makeup look, like eyes, brows, like everything drama, I feel like you really do appreciate a nice higher coverage concealer. So I think you'll still like this, but I think I would personally use this on the days where I'm not wearing that much makeup and I just wanted something to conceal my imperfections, and on the days where I am wearing a fuller coverage look and still want to look super snatched. I was really impressed by the applicator. I was like, I'm not gonna like that shit, but I actually do like it a lot. I feel like this is definitely great for the under eyes, to deep puff, to make them just feel like more smooth and soothing. And if you're putting it in competition with other concealers, it's around that same like size range. And I'm glad they started off with 20 shades for concealers. Definitely would love to see more, and I'm sure that they are going to do more, but I think that's a good starting point, because I feel like a lot of companies nowadays, what they do is they come out with literally like 10 shades of concealer and they're like, here you go. And people are like, no. No. So it's good that their very first launch was with 20 concealers. I feel like that's way better than just doing it with 10 or 8 or something like that. So you get a good color selection. I have to say I'm really impressed with this color Graham Cracker. It's the 16G, like I mentioned. I will have it listed down below in my description box as well. But I feel like it really went well with my complexion. I feel like it's one of my closer matches, where I feel like it's not too light where it's gonna look way too bright, but it's not too dark where it's gonna look almost same as my complexion. This is definitely something that I'm going to be taking on my trip that's coming up. I feel like I would rather take something like this that is a little bit more portable and I can store more makeup in my travel bag than have a bigger concealer that takes a little bit too much space. That's the one thing I don't like about the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I love the formula, love everything about it, but it's a big bulky little guy that I just feel like it takes a good amount of space in my makeup bag. So I prefer something like this. So I definitely will be traveling with this, and I feel like I could also use this just for the quick days when I just want to put a little bit on and go. You know what I mean? It just works well. So I'm really overall impressed with the Huda Beauty concealer. I will continue using this. Perhaps you guys will see it in my next favorites video for the month of October if it makes it. But I mean, my under eyes are looking really good, and they're not looking too bright, but they're not looking like they're the same color of my whole foundation face. So I'm really excited about this. So yeah, I really hope that you guys found this video useful, and if you guys did enjoy watching this concealer review, please give this video a big thumbs up. Lets me know to continue doing these types of videos. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you to become a member of family here on YouTube, because I wouldn't want you guys to miss my videos for the world. That being said, I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.